Students, today's topic is very important thing, that is mechanism of fertilization. Already I have drawn it here. Last few classes when I was discussing about female reproductive system, male reproductive system, already I discussed about gametogenesis. In gametogenesis I told you about spermatogenesis and oogenesis. Now after oogenesis, the process that is fertilization, that I will explain it. Fertilization means from male body ultimately male gametes, sperm is secreting, and from female body ova will release, and the sperm, when it will ultimately come into female body, into vagina of female body, it will come into, again it will come into fallopian tube, and therefore the sperm which is coming from male body, it will fuse with the ovum which is present in female body. So fusion of sperm and ovum, that is fertilization. And for class 12, if I want to explain it, then therefore it will be, you have to define it, that the fusion of sperm nucleus and fusion of ovum nucleus, that is fertilization. So let's start about the video, that is mechanism of fertilization. So I have written here the different steps of fertilization. Number 1, that is gametes, means production of gametes. Number 2, arrival of sperm. Number 3, arrival of secondary oocyte. Number 4, capacitation of sperm. Number 5, contact of ovum and sperm. And number 6, very important step, number 6, penetration. And number 7, formation of male and female pronucleus. Number 8, fusion of male and female pronucleus. So first of all, I am starting from gametes. For fertilization, first of all, gamete production is very important thing. For from male gamete, from male body, male gamete will produce, means sperm will produce, and from female body, female gamete will produce, means ova will produce. So without the formation of gametes, fertilization process will not occur, because without gametes, how the process fertilization will occur? So first of all, number 1, that is formation of gametes. So from male body, sperm will release, means sperm will form, that is the process spermatogenesis. Already I explained in my last video. Similarly, in last video also I explained about the formation of ova, means formation of egg, that is oogenesis, also I explained it. So number 1 process, that is gametes formation. Number 2, arrival of sperm. Number 2 is very, very important. Arrival of sperm. Arrival of sperm means when the sperm ultimately it will come into female vagina, therefore the fertilization will occur. So first of all, the sperm has to reach in female vagina, and therefore means after sexual intercourse, only after sexual intercourse the sperm can enter into the female vagina, and therefore the sperm can come into the oviduct or fallopian tube of female reproductive system. Therefore it will be the arrival of sperm. One more thing, the sperm which can enter in female body, after all it can ultimately 72 hours, the lifespan of the sperm into female vagina, that is 72 hours, but only 48 hours is ultimately the time period by which the sperm can fertilize the egg. So it is very important time period, because when the sperm will enter, at that time the ovum have to present here. If the ovum is absent, then the sperm will not survive, then the sperm will die. That's why it is in male body, scrotal sac it is present, because it cannot tolerate that body temperature. So the arrival of sperm is very, very important. 72 hours it is the lifespan into the female vagina of a sperm, but it can fertilize egg only 48 hours. Within 48 hours the sperm can fertilize the ovum after entering in female vagina. Number 3, arrival of secondary oocyte. In the process of oogenesis, last class I told you, in the process of oogenesis, formation of secondary oocyte, polar body is a various steps, and the secondary oocyte, it will ultimately fertilize. From primary oocyte, polar body and secondary oocyte will form. Similarly, from secondary oocyte, another mitotic division, there will be formation of another polar body. So secondary oocyte means formation of main oocyte. That is very, very important thing for the process of fertilization. Number 4, capacitation of sperm. When the sperm will enter in female vagina, it can fertilize the egg. So it will take time, because when the sperm will enter into the female vagina, so it will take few time for their adaptation in the female vagina, and after all it can fertilize the egg at that time when it is entering, but after few hours it can easily fertilize egg. So that is the process. Capacitation of sperm means the sperm will get energy to fertilize egg. The sperm will get adaptation in female body to fertilize the egg. Means the capacity of the sperm, how it will fertilize the egg in female body. That is the process. That is capacitation of sperm. It is very important process, because without capacitation of sperm, the sperm cannot fertilize egg. One more thing, ultimately there are millions of sperms entering here, but only one is able to fertilize the egg, which will reach at first. Means this, there are millions of sperms coming, but at first which one will reach and which one will fertilize? Maybe the first one cannot fertilize, the second one or third one will fertilize it. So millions of sperms, they, after their activation in female body, they will come towards the ovum into the fallopian tube, and they the millions of sperms, whenever they are coming in very first, their speed is very fast when they are coming into the female vagina to fertilize the egg. So that is the capacitation of sperm, how they will fertilize into female vagina, into female fallopian tube, how they will fertilize the ovum. Next is contact of ovum and sperm. Contact of ovum and sperm means at fallopian tube, in female reproductive system, at fallopian tube there will be the connection of ovum and sperm, because ovum will come from ovary and it will come into fallopian tube, and the sperm will reach into fallopian tube, and there will be the fertilization process in the fallopian tube. So it is the contact of ovum and sperm. Next is penetration. Now I will show you the diagram. Here is a diagram of a secondary oocyte. In the secondary oocyte, look at the structure. In the middle portion there is a structure, round structure, that is the ovum. In the middle portion there is a round structure, that is the ovum, and just surrounding the ovum there is a layer, there is the second layer, there is a layer just surrounding the ovum. The name of the layer, that is perivitelline space. So in the middle portion, thence the ovum or the egg is present, and surrounding the egg there is the structure present, it is known as perivitelline space. And after perivitelline space there is also second layer, another layer is there also. The second layer after perivitelline space, it is known as zona pellucida. So first of all, ovum, surrounding the ovum, the first layer, that is known as perivitelline space, and after perivitelline space, the second layer which is surrounding the total ovum and perivitelline space, that is known as zona pellucida. Surrounding the zona pellucida there are also so many cells. These are known as cells of corona radiata. So the cells of corona radiata ultimately surrounding the zona pellucida. So first of all, in the middle portion there is the egg, and therefore there is a structure, that is perivitelline space. After perivitelline space there is the second layer, that is zona pellucida. After zona pellucida there is the structure, that is fully composed of cells of corona radiata. So these are the structure of secondary oocyte. Now how penetration will occur? From here I am also showing you the structure. Look at the structure here very carefully. Here is the structure. The sperms are entering here. The acrosome part of a sperm, it is entering here. In zona, it is cells of corona radiata, it is zona pellucida, and therefore it is perivitelline space. So now I am explaining it, that look at the structure. When the sperm is entering, sperm looks like that. The head means the head of the sperm. There is a structure known as acrosome formed by our cell organelle. Golgi body helps to form acrosome. So acrosome, the structure of the sperm, in the head of the sperm, acrosome is present. So first of all, when the sperm will come here, maybe more than 10 sperms surrounding here, they have come first and they want to fertilize. The first process, how they will fertilize, first of all, in the cells of corona radiata, there is a acid known as hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid present in the cells of corona radiata. So for this reason, from the acrosome or from the head of the sperm, there will be secretion of enzyme, that is hyaluronidase enzyme. Hyaluronidase enzyme. So there are cells of corona radiata. There is an acid known as hyaluronic acid. And hyaluronic acid, it is present in the cells of corona radiata, and in the sperm, head of the sperm, there is the enzyme, that is hyaluronidase. That is the enzyme. Now that enzyme will neutralize this area because it is fully acidic due to hyaluronic acid. So the enzyme means hyaluronidase will uh, ultimately reduce the acidity or acidic nature of that region, and it will ultimately neutralize it. So number one, in the process of penetration it will occur. In second phase, therefore, what will occur, the acrosome easily digests the part, means the cells of corona radiata. From here the head of the sperm entering, so it will completely digest it, and therefore the head of the sperm will touch the second layer, that is zona pellucida. So in the head of the sperm it will then touch into second layer. After corona radiata cells there is the second layer, zona pellucida, then the head of the sperm it will touch. And in second layer means here is the, in zona pellucida there is a ZP3 binding protein. These are present in zona pellucida. ZP3 binding proteins are present. They helps to bind sperm nucleus or the head of the sperm into perivitelline space. So ZP3 protein is, these are very important. One more thing, from here means from zona pellucida there will be another secretion, that is sperm lysine, and from here from active there will be also another secretion, active enzyme, means aerosine, that will secrete from here, that helps to penetrate the wall of perivitelline space. Now what will occur after this stage? After this stage you will see that if it is the structure of secondary oocyte. So after this stage what will occur, the sperm will enter here into the perivitelline space, and therefore that will occur, means it is the process known as penetration. After penetration there will be formation of male and female pronucleus. You know, in the ovum, I am drawing here. In the ovum, already ovum nucleus is present, and similarly the head of the sperm, when it will enter, there will be also male pronucleus. I have drawn it by black marker, and the blue marker represent female pronucleus. So into the ooplasm, ooplasm means within the oocyte, the cytoplasm which is present, it is known as ooplasm. So into the ooplasm now two nucleus, these are present. One is sperm nucleus or sperm pronucleus, other one is ovum pronucleus. And in next stage the sperm nucleus and ovum pronucleus, in next stage they will fuse with each other, and therefore they will form zygote, that is the structure known as zygote. So it is, you know, diploid number, and it was n plus n, means n plus n means n for one male sperm nucleus, another n for female ovum nucleus. So n plus n to n means it will be diploid. That's why the zygote will form. That is the process of fertilization. That's why in last stage fusion of male and female pronucleus. It is the fusion of male and female pronucleus. So that is the process. Among these steps, ultimately the process penetration is very important. I am also explaining it. And after fertilization, what will occur? You know, that embryo is developed. That will be the development of embryo. So there will be cleavage, and there will be the few stages just like morula, blastula, gastrula. So by which the embryo will develop, and ultimately the embryo looks like human embryo. So with the help of cleavage with the help of blastocyst. Ultimately, after fertilization, the embryo will develop into mother body. So that is the process. So few terms are there, just like lactation period, parturition period, that I will explain in another video. Now that's a very important thing. Today's topic, number one, mechanism of fertilization. Under mechanism of fertilization, 7 to 8 stages are there. Number one, gametes. Number two, arrival of sperm. Number three, arrival of secondary oocyte. One more thing, whenever I was talking about sperm, means it can, when it will enter in female vagina, so it cannot fertilize the egg. After few times, after few hours, ultimately it will be activated and therefore it can fertilize. So that is the process of capacitation. And one more thing, that is more, millions of sperms are entering here, but one is able to fertilize. So rest of them cannot fertilize, because after fertilization of one egg, it cannot fertilize by any other sperm. So that is the process that will occur. And one thing is that sometimes you know that twins, two kinds of twins are there. One is identical twins, other one is non-identical twins. What will occur if one egg, means one oocyte, ultimately fertilized by one sperm, and after fertilization, when the zygote is formed, the zygote equally divided into two different parts. So there will be two identical, means they are two identical twins. So identical twins will form, they are identical twins. How they will form? Because they are originated from single ova, and the single ova ultimately fertilized by one sperm, and therefore it is equally divided into two different parts. That's why it is identical twins. What about non-identical twins? Sometimes also by mistake two eggs fertilized by two different sperm. So there will be two different zygote and there will be non-identical twins. These are the concept of identical and non-identical twins. So for fertilization, few enzymes, few proteins, just like ZP3 binding proteins, few parts zona pellucida, ovum, perivitelline space. These are very important thing, and their function, just like function of ZP3 protein. You will also practice the diagram by which you can easily write the stages of fertilization. What is the function of zona pellucida? What do you mean by acrosomal reaction? Means the acrosome reacting with the wall of the corona radiata, and therefore it will secrete that enzyme, and after that it will digest the layer of the corona radiata from here, and after that easily it will touch into zona pellucida. After zona pellucida, again it will touch perivitelline space, and therefore into the ooplasm the sperm nucleus will enter easily. So that is the process regarding fertilization. And one more thing, only one only one sperm can fertilize the egg. That's why it is the reason only when the one egg can fertilize. Suppose I am talking about this sperm, only one sperm, that sperm can fertilize the egg. So rest of them cannot fertilize. So only for this region, I'm drawing here, only for this region, the cells of zona pellucida will digest. Don't think about any other region. Only for this region where the sperm reaction or acrosomal reaction is occurring. So only this part, the cells of corona radiata, it will digest, and therefore the sperm will touch into second layer, that is zona pellucida, and there is the ZP3 binding protein which helps to bind sperm into into perivitelline space. So thank you very much. You will also read next stages, means after fertilization what will occur, but the process of fertilization is very important. In NEET also many MCQs are coming from, just like what is just like given that perivitelline space is present as second layer of a ovum, or maybe zona function of zona pellucida. ZP3 binding protein is present in the head of the sperm. True, false, or so these are some statement based questions for NEET and for West Bengal Board of Higher Secondary Education. West Bengal Council of Higher Secondary Education, there will be very easy questions from here, and ISC also there will be very easy questions. The mechanism of fertilization process will not come actually, but from here individually short answer type questions MCQ type questions from in nowadays, short answer type questions. MCQ type questions is very important. That's why you have to practice more MCQ. So very important short answer type questions. It will come to 2 lines, 3 lines answer, one word answer. So that is very important. Thank you, student.